Hey. Welcome to the place where the heart gets heard, where the city gets the message and it spreads like word. MrShawn, break it down, he be speaking that life, talking pain, talking purpose, how to walk in the life. Miss Tanya with a T, yeah, she keep it on flow, dropping gems in your cup, got the whole city glow. This the real, this the raw, this the vibe we feel. Conversation with a mission, every moment gon' heal, yeah. Check in, yeah, we talk about what's real, time to check. Every story helps us heal. MrShawn and Miss Tanya bring the truth we need. Every Wednesday night, they gon' set the city free. Checkin'. Come on and vibe, let the healing begin. Checkin'. From the hurt to the hope, from the loss to the win. They remind us every week, yo, we all can begin. A new day, new lane, get your mind aligned. Let the truth hit your spirit, leave the lies behind. City tune in heavy when they step on the mic, cause the love and the wisdom always hitting just right. It's the check-in show, where the soul gets fed. If you needed some direction, this the spot instead. We laugh, we cry, we learn, we grow, we heal together. Every time the lights glow, turn it up, tune in, let the moment be. It's MrShawn and Tanya with the T. Check in. Yeah, we talk about what's real, time to check in. Every story helps us heal. MrShawn and Miss Tanya bring the truth we need. Every Wednesday night, they gon' set the city free. Check it. You hear this the vibe, let the healing begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's time to check in. Man, listen, that check-in intro is a beast. Shout out to producer Jesse Coleman at P360, man, Studios. Rise and Grind Morning Show producer, man. Jesse, man, you a bad boy, man. You a bad boy to come up with this type of music, man. And, man, listen, I'm trying to told you something, ladies and gentlemen. But here it is, Wednesday, and we appreciate you guys checking in. Me and Miss Tanya been on the air for 2 years now straight.
Yeah.
Been on yeah, man. 2 years straight, man. We've been out here grinding. And the platform is for us, ladies and gentlemen. Today, man, I have some special guests in the house. Got some amazing brothers that's here on the show.
Oh, I was looking around like who else coming?
Listen, we go, look, we on the Rise and Grind Morning Show Monday, Tuesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, ladies and gentlemen. And that energy that we have on the morning show is here today. So, I don't know, Ty didn't already had his nap. He didn't know.
Man, I done had a few naps today, actually. And it's 5 o'clock too. Ooh-wee, buckle up. Prepare for takeoff.
Y'all gonna see why here in a minute, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Shout out to Craig A. Thompson, President, CEO of 50 Way Studios. Craig, what it do?
My brother, more blessings.
Man, listen, man.
My man.
Man, listen, ladies and gentlemen.
He had a DJ. Did he have a DJ Clue Echo like? What's up?
Man, shout out to each and every one in the city of Toledo that's doing great and amazing things, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're gonna speak life into you, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna show you what partnership and collaboration looks like, ladies and gentlemen. I am blessed today to have in the studio with me, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only DJ Mpress in the house.
Mpress.
There
we go.
Mpress.
Mpress, not Empress.
It's not Empress, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
With the M, not an E.
Y'all hear that? Y'all know who voice that is. That's your favorite cousin from Mud Talk. We got Ty Cleveland in the house.
What's good, y'all? Mud Talk's, only one, and also the Rise and Grind Morning Show's favorite cousin.
Favorite cousin, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all don't want to miss this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't want to miss this show. Because what you see, ladies and gentlemen, you see some brothers at the table. Brothers at the table.
Yes.
Each and every one of us have our own podcast that we do.
Yes, sir.
Right? And so we're here today to show you what it looks like to work together. Mm-hmm. Nobody's president, CEO, nobody's over nobody. No, this is about people coming together. And I think moving into 2026, ladies and gentlemen, we got to be able to understand what it looks like, especially black men.
No doubt.
Black men working together and being able to uplift our community and be the strength that we need in our community. Because there's a lot going down, ladies and gentlemen. It's a lot going down. And there's some things that we need to talk about. Some things we need to be very transparent about. And so I am blessed to have these two gentlemen on the show with me. It means everything to me when I am able to work with like-minded people. I don't know about you, but when you work with like-minded people, you're going to be greater in life because they don't mind sharing what it is that they do to be more successful. They don't mind. Like I'm literally listening to AKA Moni. Okay. Y'all know him as DJ. He cuzzo. He fam for real. Real. But it amazes me how he talks about like producing music and how to do it. Right now, I'm not a producer, but just to hear that conversation, it piques my interest on, well, how can I perfect my AI a little bit better so I can create more music that won't get dinged on social media? Somebody missed that one.
Yeah. Because they show dinging.
I mean, and they're dinging like all the way back. Like I just seen somebody, they got their Facebook blocked because of a post from 2022.
So
wow.
When I first used to do the set, we used to post the videos on Facebook. Yeah. And then they went like they was cool for a minute, then they started dinging them. But now they'll go back a post that I posted in 2016 and be like, if you don't erase it, now I'm like, it's just 2026. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
You gotta find ways around
it. Was that Facebook and like Facebook, Spotify, and those platforms, they are just using like AI generators to go through, and it's even if you don't post anything that's graphic, if it even sets off one of the whatever requirements or whatever they have for it, it'll like flag it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's stupid, man. Because if you think about it, us, especially DJs, being able to do sets actually promotes your artist. So it's the record companies that's blocking it. Yeah. But people like you don't know how many times me DJing a set has turned somebody on to an artist. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So if I'm a record label, I'd be like, yeah, more plays the better. But I guess they see it a little different.
Yeah, and we need those kind of platforms because we don't have the platforms like 106 in Park and all these music video shows where artists can go and promote themselves.
Right.
So if a DJ can stream his set and put people onto music, I don't see why not. But
right.
Mark Zuckerberg, come to the table. We need a staff meeting.
We need a staff meeting.
Come to the table because at this point I feel like I work for you. If I get a check from Mark Zuckerberg, I work for you. So let's have a staff meeting. We need to talk about
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely.
In COVID, when COVID happened, though, for some reason they relaxed the restrictions for certain people because, like, D-Nice went crazy. Yeah. Jazzy Jeff has always been crazy. Yeah. But, like, I'm going to call the average DJ, they not having it. They are not having it whatsoever.
Man.
Well, how do we stop becoming an average DJ if you keep blocking me?
Right. No doubt.
Just saying. So, I don't know. Mark Zuckerberg, just come to the table, man. Come to the carpet. We need to have a conversation.
Right. Meta, you send me an invoice with the little money I get. Yeah, I guess meet me at the table, bro. Meet me at the table. Because oatmeal beats no meal, and whatever little crumb or little pennies, I ain't turning nothing down but my collar. So that's what that is. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, listen to what I'm saying. And this is a conversation that we have to have, right? We as black men across the board, across the country, right? We got to find a way to support one another, love one another, hold each other accountable, right? And being able to be what God called us to be. Because what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen, we're dealing with a lost generation of our young boys. Do y'all understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the direction that our young black boys are heading, that there will be no legacy for them? There will be no children. There will not be grandchildren, because we as black men, we are so at each other, knocking one another, that we fail to realize that we're losing our youth that will not carry on legacy. And the only way we're going to be able to heal, ladies and gentlemen, is we got to bring black men together and show what it looks like to work together. It's easy. It's easy because on the Rise and Grind Morning Show, we having fun. We having a ball on the Rise and Grind Morning Show, ladies and gentlemen. Check us out Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday from 9 to 10:30. It's on Facebook Live. We're on every major platform. Just type in on Facebook 419 Grind.
And I'll be there because we don't have school for the rest of the week. I got that phone call this morning.
So
Rest of the week?
We're off Thursday and Friday. It's supposed to be cold, man.
And so I see people on here, like I'm trying to see, like I see my nephew, TJ Johnson, right? TJ understands exactly the language that we're speaking because he's one of those young men that came underneath my wing coming up, right? And so it's important for him as a husband, as a father right now, that he is laying legacy down to continue what it is that he's doing to be greater. A lot of my frat brothers are on here, often try but never deny, frat brothers of mine. And one thing that we fail at, and I got to say this publicly, is that as a Freemason, it's not about just kicking it at the Grenadier. It should not be looked at as a club, right? And so the disappointment part that I find is that I'm letting my light shine for all men to see, but when there's no support from the brotherhood and assisting what needs to take place out here in the community, we got to do better. We got to do better. And I'm just going to call it out for what it is because, again, no one wants to be held accountable, but we got to walk into the season of accountability, ladies and gentlemen, where people are literally being held accountable for their actions. And another thing I want to touch base on, because we got to get into it, and I need to hear what you guys have to say. The number is 567-698-8577. That number again is 567-698-8577. We're going to have this conversation about Toledo Public Schools for a minute here.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you better not have nothing negative to say about what's going on with Toledo Public Schools. Because y'all in for a rude awakening. If you are not going to these meetings to hear what's about to go down, bet not open up your mouth and say anything negative. You bet not try to throw dirt or shade on what you think is happening, right? No. It's time for especially black folk to wake your ass up and realize that it is going down. And the sad part about it, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hit you with just not the in-school suspension. I'm going with the nurses. Do y'all understand what's getting ready to happen with no nurses in the schools? Do y'all understand that your baby that's on medication, your baby that's got asthma, your baby that has diabetes, your baby that's throwing up and got the flu, and there's nobody medical wise that's going to be in the building to assist that? What do y'all expect for these principals to do? What do y'all expect for the assistant principals to do? Right? That's one thing. That's one thing right there, right? And then I heard last night that they're getting rid of counselors too.
The school
counselors. It's on WTOL, man.
Yeah. So if they aren't getting rid of them, then they're going to be bouncing between a few schools. So they'll be getting rid of some counselors, but then the counselors that basically get to stay, they'll be taking on more than one school. So if you are a counselor over at Pickett, then now you may be a counselor over at Rosa Parks and Spring or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, do not take this lightly. I am asking the community to stand in solidarity with Toledo Public Schools and understand the transformation that they got to go through, because they doing away with the in-school suspension program. I keep trying to tell y'all, man, it's about to be real out here. But nothing changes if nothing changes. And a lot of you, the way that you think is you go, well, they ain't got nothing to do with me. And my kid don't go to Toledo Public School. Okay. They may not go to Toledo Public Schools, but those kids still live in your neighborhood, right? And so the kids that get kicked out of Toledo Public Schools going to be through your neighborhood while you trying to work. And these crime numbers they came out with, well, that's a different topic, but yeah, that's getting ready to change. And y'all are not prepared for that.
And let me say this. If you going I don't want to see nobody make a Facebook post that's not willing to put boots to the ground.
Damn.
Yes.
All of these keyboard, everybody got a gripe or these fake Facebook solutions behind the keyboard, but when it's time to actually put something in motion, ain't nowhere to be found. Keep your fingers.
Yeah.
Keep your fingers. We don't want it.
Yeah.
And stop making statuses if you haven't done the research. There are people who are making statuses who keep saying, Toledo Public Schools is failing us. Toledo Public Schools is doing this. Romulus is doing that. Y'all haven't done the research, and I've said this over and over again on the Rise and Grind Morning Show. This is the consequence of not taking voting seriously.
Thank you.
This is the consequence of not going to vote at all. This is the consequence of when we had someone who was willing to ride or die as the president of the United States of America. We came up with every excuse in the book on why not to vote for her. When the Orange Man blatantly said himself, "I'm willing to cut funding to public education. I'm willing to dismantle the Department of Education. I'm willing to cut funding to PBS, WGTE, which is that Fund Sesame Street, which is the educational programming for kids who may not be able to afford cable, to teach them literacy."
Facts.
So this man has said this blatantly in our faces, but everybody was like, well, he's a business owner. He's all about the businesses. But now guess what? The business owner, now your kids are in school and they're about to be lacking resources.
They about to lack major
and
resources.
the people that he put head of these departments is a joke. Like
they know nothing about education.
Nothing at all. Nothing. What can barely spell.
Listen.
So this is what we're getting, and so we need to understand that this is coming from the government who's cutting funding, and it's not even just to the public. There are other districts that are having to deal with some of the same issues that TPS is going on right now. The difference is that the focus is on TPS because let's just be honest, most of our kids are in poverty.
Yeah.
And we are in these type of situations in neighborhoods. And I'm not saying that nobody's checking for Springfield or Mommy and whatnot, but we're focused on TPS and it's unfair because we are always under a microscope, but not understanding that it's like apples to oranges. So you're trying to compare TPS. Well, Ottawa Hills don't have this problem. You can't even compare the two.
Right.
You can't even compare the two. So yeah, I just need us to really honestly get with it and start attending these meetings. And these meetings have been happening for years. It's just that people just weren't willing to go to them. But now that it's at their doorstep, now it's like, oh yeah, now we need to do something about it. I mean, at this point, it's too late. It's like if you got a cold and you know it's coming, you don't wait until you get the full blown flu and pneumonia to be like, well, maybe now I need to go to the doctor. No, now you got pneumonia in both lungs.
My square said. This is way before Trump. This happened. This was starting to happen 30 years ago. And he is absolutely right. And I mean, and let's be honest, ladies and gentlemen, what we do is we keep putting the same people in the same seat forever. Mm-hmm. So there's no passing of the torch, right? Because not everybody, but you have those who are very comfortable being in their positions until they retire, right? Or they pass away and they get rolled out. But we keep voting for the same people. Like, I'm not saying that the Democrat or Republican Party, what I'm saying is that because you have and I'll use Toledo as an example, because you have a Democrat mindset, right? When it's time to vote, you just go straight down the Democrat ticket. Without looking at options. So you mean to tell me that Josh Williams, state representative, right, that is running for the seat, right, because he's a Republican means he's a sellout? He's not a sellout. He understands what's good for people, and that's who I like to see in certain seats is who's there really for the people. Erica White, who's there for the people, right? So when you have people that is for people, right? Not because they're Democrat, not because they're Republican, because of people that will do right.
Hey, but I'm going to tell you something, though. Part of that, though, is people don't want to do the research, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
They want to do what's easy. So what they get is these pamphlets saying these are all the Democrats in here, vote for these people. Instead of doing your own research, I've never been a straight party line vote. I vote for whatever's in my best interest. Whoever got my best interest, whether you Democrat or Republican or whatever, I do my research. I try to figure out, these issues, taxes, and what is that going to? How is that going to affect me? I do my research. I go and I look up zoning. I look up all of that kind of stuff to see how it's going to affect me, and then I'll vote accordingly to my interests. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And if more people did that instead of being just taking the easy way out, like, when you walking in, somebody give you a list of people to vote for, or issues to vote for, you have no clue what it mean, or last minute while you in the booth trying to read and figure it out, and they make that language that way on purpose.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That language is that way on purpose. But you got to do your research ahead of time, be knowledgeable, and keep up with stuff.
Absolutely.
Because things change all the time.
Yeah.
So.
And just know, being that, because we're talking about don't just vote for Republican or Democrat. Also, don't just vote for people because they're black. Because all skin folk ain't kinfolk.
Ain't kinfolk. Ain't kinfolk whatsoever.
I'm telling you, just because they black don't mean they got our best interests. Because sometimes I love my black people down, but when we get into power, we know how to switch it up real quick. Sometimes.
Real quick.
So just remember, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. You got to be careful.
Man,
Be careful.
man, you got to be careful because I know some people I didn't grew up with that's either, bishops and doctors and all this other stuff. And then they forget. I said, man, we came from the same hood. We even ate a government cheese sandwich together, and you didn't got in position, and this is what we doing.
And now you acting like you too good for cream of wheat.
Man, cream of wheat, man.
Now you said shrimp and grits only.
Oh, my God, ladies and gentlemen. So just understand that part, ladies and gentlemen. Again, what you're seeing today is individuals coming to the table, right? I talked about starting this thing called The Circle, which a lot of people are interested in. And what that does, ladies and gentlemen, it aligns up accountability, but it also aligns us to work together, develop resources. Someone just said on there, like, why did they close Macomber? I still, to this day, don't like it's mind-boggling to me because I'm like, wait a minute, you went out to Penna and started the same thing that was what the.
So I spoke at their hearing. I think I was a sophomore in high school. Right?
Okay.
The reason that they gave us that they closed Macomber was because Macomber was the only school without a district, right? And they were having problems populating other schools. So they figured if they closed Macomber, one, they could send everybody back to their district schools, which would increase population at those other schools. And plus, they wanted to, at the time, decrease the traffic downtown. But what I said as a sophomore, young man, what I said is if you have 8 hamburger stands and a hot dog stand, right? Because Macomber was the only vocational school, right? And it's working, though. And you got to close two hamburger stands and keep that hot dog stand because a lot of people that went to college is not for everybody, right? A lot of people who went to Macomber went straight into the workforce, either working for people or starting their own business, and still in business today because of the training that they got while we were at Macomber. To me, closing Macomber made absolutely no sense because you essentially took away a labor force that went from high school ready to work, ready to make a difference in the city, ready to build, ready, you know what I mean? And then you wondering why people don't want to stay here and start business because, you took that away.
Right. Facts.
Yeah. And with that, I mean, we're thankful that now we have these magnet schools and these different career tech schools, but then think about how long that gap was before TPS got to that point again.
Right.
It was like once Macomber closed, they didn't have the schools that have the career tech programs and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, that's definitely was something that probably never should have been done in the first place, and you could have just expanded, whatnot. But yeah, man, I need y'all to really start paying attention to what's going on in the world because it's getting real out here.
And the one thing that I can say about like the magnet schools, right? Every child don't qualify for magnet schools, right? So my fight has always been, if I had a fight with the district, is how do we take those youth that are have IEPs, that is labeled special education. How do we transition those youth to get those type of trades? Like, how can they move into a direction to get their CDLs or get their CNA or, how come we're not putting the focus? So what happens essentially is now you're not having enough students in buildings now, right? So we kind of let the other kids that don't have that magnet school academic, right? But now so now you kind of stuck because you're not looking. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna probably do a live like later, but I am literally going, because I come from corporate America, right? So one of the things that I did in corporate America that made me very, very successful is I always talk to president and CEOs about their bottom line, right? So I always will look at I would look and see what they're paying for whatever service it was, right? And then I would just do the numbers and saying, if I can decrease this, then you're going to see a positive on your bottom line. And I was able to show that. So what I did was 10 years ago, and I'm going to show everybody, I came up with this amazing plan to save the district millions. Like, it's going to blow you away when I share the numbers, right? And so I had did a presentation to one of the superintendents, and I was like, hey, if you do this, keeping butts in the seats and not in the streets, right? Keeping your buildings full, right? This is how much money this organization can save you. And if you had 10 more organizations that will model this, this will save you a ton of money. The sad part about it, ladies and gentlemen, is we got to stop looking at people as if they don't know what they're doing or what they're talking about. Somebody's calling. We got
okay. All right.
We got a caller on the line. Check in.
Go ahead, caller. You on?
Hello.
Maybe they hung up.
They got scared. 567-698-8577, ladies and gentlemen. You know, so. Yep. So any rate, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't be scared.
But you got to understand that I always say this: God will send something or someone your way with a blessing on it, right? But you'll miss out on your blessing because it's not packaged right. When God blesses you, it don't always come with the fancy ribbon or bows, right? Yeah. And so, sometimes it's very upsetting because you're saying, hey, look, let me show you how much money I can save you. Just take a look at that. But in hindsight, because you didn't know this was coming, right? Because you didn't know this was coming down the pike, it just made me go, what if? Because I'm pretty sure there are other people in the city of Toledo that try to give their input on saving the district money and got and lost out, So you got to understand now is that we as a community, we got to step in, ladies and gentlemen. We got to step in. And what we have to do is that we have to take the bull by the horn, and we got to be able to make sure that our youth is good, right? And that they're still getting some type of education, right? But maybe it's time, and I'm just saying, maybe it's time that we invest in a building and put trades in those buildings, because every child is not meant for college. I have a young man that I'm working with. He is 22 years old, and he wants to get into HVAC, right? So everybody is like, call Fleetwood, right? Okay, but what if there was something else, and we're not taking away from TPS or any other, but what if us in the community have something where young black men and females can come to a place where they can actually learn something? Because I know right now the trades are begging for people. But again, nothing changes if nothing changes. So we don't put ourselves in position, ladies and gentlemen, to do what needs to be done. Why? Because we are always at odds with each other. We're always at odds. We're always arguing. We're always fighting. We're always backstabbing. We always got something negative to say. And them days got to be over, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me ask this.
Go ahead.
Is that what the circle is going to start doing?
That's what the circle would like to do.
Get like-minded people.
Like-minded people together. Like-minded people.
And let me say this about the trades too. Some years ago, I was, of course, in corporate America too, and we were putting on a trades fair, right? We had got one of the councilmen that came to us and wanted us to help him. And so they have these meetings with all the heads of trades. And when I tell you, we went to this meeting and we were the only black people there, right? And so I started asking, why is there, where's the representation at? And what I was told was they systematically didn't want us to be a part of that because it's wealth building. You know, they put they family on and other stuff and kind of excluded us from that. But my thing was, where are the people who did get in? Why weren't you pulling other people, like do what they do? Yeah. You know what I mean? It should have been way more color representation in that room than it was. And at one point, I thought about trying to figure out a way to circumvent the system to get more of us in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's once you learn a trade, you pretty much set. Because even when you work, you know how many, especially us, that them under the after work jobs and all that, you can feed, man, you can feed family once, but the knowledge is what you need. Certifications, do it the right way. You know what I mean? Don't like them my cousin did a tune up one time, so he a mechanic. Nah, man, get them papers, all of that kind of stuff, and do it the right way. And you'll be able to start businesses and employ people and teach and pass that knowledge and stuff on, man. So that's what we need to be doing.
Walter Gray said there's too many gatekeepers here in Toledo. You're absolutely right.
And there's a difference between protective or being a protector and gatekeeping. There's a big difference, because there are some gatekeepers who love to just withhold information for whatever reason. But then you have some people who are protectors because whether they have been, jaded before or whatnot, but they're willing to give information at the same time. But you have some people who are just cold, flat, like, no.
And if you running into too many gatekeepers, switch your circle.
Oh, that's absolutely.
Switch your circle, because there are people who are willing to share that information. One, if you gain their trust.
Right.
Because I'm not giving information for somebody to go willy-nilly and just be doing all kind of fraudulent stuff and all that. You know what I mean? There are people who share. You know what I mean? And you got to find them circles and make yourself valuable in those circles for somebody to want to share that information with you.
And don't get the information and be trying to screw people over, because that's
what I'm saying.
Now that's what makes people gatekeepers. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm also glad that you spoke on as far as the trade. So when I had my impact program, I stopped saying college bound and I started saying higher education program, because the word college was like turning people off. And so, parents would be like, oh, I want my kid to be in the program. You're talking about college and doing this. And they would be like, Mr. Tyrone, like, I don't even want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? But then as the conversation started going, I'm like, what you want to do is a form of college. You just have to go to a trade school. So they wanted to be, beauticians and barbers and plumbers and HVAC and stuff like that. And so I had to stop saying the word college and started saying higher education, because, education is for everybody, but college isn't. And so, but just because you don't go to a traditional 4-year college doesn't mean that you going to a trade school isn't a form of schooling. It's still schooling. And so we have to learn to get out of the mindset of the traditional way of getting to where you're trying to go and start offering these different options, like going to trade schools and things like that. But if you're saying the word college to people, I mean, just start using the word higher education, because higher education, there's so many different things, but college just puts you in a box.
I agree. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, honestly, again, I'm gonna go back to say what we need to do is, and I'm gonna keep pressing on black men, right? Because we all should be held accountable that we are not doing a greater work. A lot of us, let's just keep it a buck. A lot of us grew up and our grandfathers was alive and our great grandfathers were alive, right? And they constantly made sure that we were doing something positive and productive. Whether they was teaching us how to work on a car, opening the hood, getting down in the car, taking the alternator out, doing that. Whether it was them teaching us how to shine shoes, I mean, rake grass, cut grass, simple stuff.
Change a tire. Like all of this stuff, right?
I ain't old enough to be shining no
You'll
shoes.
be amazed at how many people don't know how to change a tire.
Man.
You said what?
I said I ain't that old enough to be shining no shoes. That wasn't my time.
I'm telling my age, but But anyway, hold on, let me tell you something. Right now, I'm shining them shoes. So anyway, so what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is this. We in the community need to have an array of resources and options. So I'll give you an example, right? Kids come to me I'm going to give them the business. I got to break them down, build them up, make sure they understand what accountability and leadership is. Then they should be able to go to a behavior health program. From a behavior health program, they should be able to go to an education program. From an educational program, they need to go to, if they want to learn music, then they need to be learning producing. They need to learn studio. They need to learn AI. They need to do that. Someone else has, like, you're going to come and learn how to be a mechanic. Like, there needs to be a wraparound services of us working together so I can say on the front end, look, you're going to come to me, this is going to be it. But then you got 2 weeks, you're starting in behavioral health, so that's going to be a continuous service. Now you get an education. So education, you're going to continue to get that. From education, you're going to go to, you want to learn how to play an instrument. You want to learn music. So you're going to be in that program for a period of time. And then after you get, man, after it's all said and done, 365 days, your baby is straight busy.
Yeah.
And they not getting in trouble.
Yeah.
And they getting hell of a service, and then that lifts us up as black men in the community, because now we all are in alignment.
And I'm gonna say this too. And then as you go through those programs, though, you're gaining mentors, right? Because just because you left Mr. Shawn's program, that don't mean you can't call Mr. Shawn, right?
Yep.
When you leave play, my kids' parents will tell you, I'm very active in my kids. You know, even if they're not attending my program, I want to know what you're doing.
Yep.
I want to know, what your mental health is like, how you make your decision making, all of that kind of stuff. I keep in touch with them. And then when wherever they go next, I'm even coordinating with the people who they giving them tips. Hey, some days, when he acting like this, you might want to try this. You know what I'm saying? And you create a circle of people who care about the well-being of these kids, man. And financial literacy is real important, man.
Yeah, shout out to Letitia Holmes, man.
Yes.
She does
Financial bag lady.
Man, financial bag lady. I'm trying to tell you, man. She keep my stuff tight. I'm just gonna put that out there. And she taught her son, and her son used to work at a bank, and he was handling. He don't even remember me. I was just like, let me just let him do his thing. But he was literally handling all my finances at the bank, and I wouldn't even say nothing. I finally told his mom, I'm like, he don't even remember me. And she was like, he probably don't. And I was like, yeah, but he don't even understand. He's handling my finances, and the brother got it going on. So, man, just trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, what we got to do. We got to change the narrative in Toledo. And one thing that I know I'm not going to do, if I'm somewhere and somebody, especially black men,
Right.
if you sitting up and you talking about somebody else, or you dogging or downing somebody else, man, I'm going to call you on the carpet, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold you accountable, because I'm going to say to you, this is why we can't get along. This is why we can't move forward as men, because you sitting here talking about something that don't even freaking matter.
Right.
You so busy and so concerned about what somebody doing, what they not doing. My question is, what are you doing? And so those conversations going to be tough. They're going to be tough. I ain't trying to fight with nobody. I ain't trying to go down to Lucas County Jail, because I can't go down there, man. I can't go down there, man. That place nasty, man. And man, man, for real, man. Y'all should just go on and build a new jail. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
I was
man,
about to say they said they about to fix this.
Listen, man. Shout out to Sheriff Navarre, man, and his team over there, man. Because man, that jail is nasty, man. I don't care what nobody say, man. And man, no. So I just threw that out there.
But I'm looking forward to a era where we ain't got to fix it up, because we decreasing the population of that jail.
Yeah.
Right.
Forget fixing it up. Let's put these programs so where we don't.
Bam.
Where we don't need them.
Bam.
Where we don't need them. You know what I mean? Of course, you're gonna have some people who should be in jail under the jail.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But some of those people, had they been in programs, or had something else to do, or some other supportive services, they wouldn't be down there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's increase the funding to some of these programs so they don't even have to go there.
Yeah. And then the thing is too, and I even said it when I had my program, is that I'm all for people willing to put their boots on the ground and do whatever, but we also have to stop recreating the wheel.
Man, that part.
There are so many programs that are doing the same exact thing, and you're fighting for kids when really you can just come together to get the kids and service them. So when we have 50, 60 behavioral health programs because everybody and their mom wants to start a behavioral health program. It's
Facts.
like now you have to figure out which one you want to go to. And it's like we are literally, like I see so many flyers and I'm comparing them. And I'm like, y'all are literally doing the same thing.
Right.
For instance, like when I had my program and I was working with Overbound, we had a great relationship because we did with Impact, we did middle school kids only, and then they had the high school kids.
Right.
So once my kids got done with me in 8th grade, I just shipped them over to Overbound, to continue that with high school. I didn't come out and say, you know what? I want to start a high school college bound program that's very similar to Upward Bound. Like there was no need to be doing that. So I just feel like instead of everybody creating all these programs that are doing the same thing, why not just come together and work together instead of fighting for kids? But that's just me. Sometimes my sense don't make sense to everybody.
You got to get rid of egos, though. Too.
Yeah.
And you got to be able to work with people. Got to be coachable and teachable.
Yeah.
And learnable.
Yeah.
I just made up that word.
I
so
see
Okay,
that.
that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
you got
That's
to be
cool.
learnable.
Listen, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, I'm gonna always say this: that we got to change the way that we're thinking. We got to change our perception. And the one thing, I think it was a wake up call for me because I left Toledo back in '93. And my first stop out was St. Louis, Missouri. Never have like lived in another city, so it was mind blowing for me. And then from there it was New York, and then New Jersey, and then Dallas, and then Dayton, and then Louisville, right? And the one thing that I realized is that I met a lot of amazing people that were doing a lot of great things. So in my heart and in my mind, I was kind of didn't want to come back to Toledo, but I was hyped enough to be like, oh, I'm going to come back to my city and I'm going to do something that no one else is doing. And then I woke up and realized that there were a lot of people that did not want you to be successful. People that even and I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all ladies. I ain't gonna say no names, but there is people out there, with a couple of people that literally took my idea and made it their vision. Like, and then I'm like, dang, you ain't gonna offer a brother a steak dinner or nothing. I mean, you just gonna take my baby and molest it and say you created it, and we got to stop doing that. So like he said, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just add a little oil to it.
Yeah.
Can we add to that?
Go ahead.
Because I left too, to Toledo. Didn't want to come back, but came back, and I'm glad I did. 'Cause
Right.
when I left, I learned a lot more.
Yes.
But what I also learned was a lot of people who stayed here didn't grow mentally.
Oh,
Ooh, that's good right there.
Their minds-
Yeah, that's good right
Their
there.
mind stayed closed. When I moved out of here to California, man, my mind opened up to so many different things, and just a lot of diversity things. And I came back here to some of the same stuck
Right.
individuals who just, they kept that closed mind thinking.
Yeah.
And so I think that's, part of, what you're
That's why.
talking about, too.
That's why I always
Yeah.
shout out my mother, because we traveled a lot as a kid. You know what I mean? And when you travel a lot, you get to see and experience different things. So your mind is different. You think differently. You know that the world is way bigger than Toledo, right? And Toledo has some things to offer.
And I didn't see that until I left.
I didn't see that
Toledo
either.
have things to offer,
Straight up.
but when I went to school in Georgia, right? The South opened me up to a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of, like, my whole train, like the way that I thought, like I was when I was here, not knowing I was stuck on my block.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not
Right.
knowing that. And then when you go to Atlanta, you're like, wow, this is crazy. You know what I mean? And then again, I used to spend almost every summer in DC. So that's a whole nother culture. You know what I mean? So just being able to travel and experience things will open your mind and change your mindset about how you approach things here in Toledo.
It'll make you sit somewhere and think. Because I remember I was down at Leclerc's Landing in St. Louis, right? And I'm looking up at this arch, right? Looking up at this arch, and then the lady said to me, she was like, you need to go inside and see it. And I said, go inside? She was like, yeah, go inside and see it. So I walked in there. Little did I know, they had like a little trolley thing in there. So you sit down in it, and it just goes click, and it click, and it goes all the way up to the top. And I remember looking out this window, looking at the whole horizon of St. Louis County, right? That was my wake-up call. Because I started thinking, I said, if the people in Toledo only knew what I'm looking at right now, it would change their forever thinking. That's exactly what I said. So my mom called me. She said, when you coming back home to visit? I said, I'm never coming back to Toledo. And she said, why? I said, because if I would have stayed on Oakwood, I wouldn't have never knew that there's a whole world of opportunity out here. If I would have stayed on the block,
No doubt.
I wouldn't have never knew there was a whole world of opportunity out here.
Yeah.
And we was in New York, and it was funny because me and Tifa went to New York, and the girls, we went to New York, and they was wondering how I could hop in off these subways, right? You go up one step, you want to go around. I said, we got to cross the street because we got to go back down under to the subway, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, how did you learn all of that when you were here? I said, after you do it so many times, you just know.
Right.
But again, I was thinking, what if the people on the block had an opportunity just to hang out with me on the subway?
Yeah.
And just have a conversation? Because a lot of our people, like you said, they never left here. They never left here. So their mindsets is not where we've been and what we've done for them to understand even the language that we're speaking right now. Right?
And some of them don't even want to know, though.
I was
That's the
just about
bad
to
part.
say, choosing to not
Little
grow,
elevator too. Yeah, it was.
like
Little
not
bit.
growing, that's a choice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, I say all the time, we all have the same 24 hours. What you do with yours is what you do with yours. And so, if you haven't traveled, then I feel like sometimes that's a personal problem because you have to make sacrifices in your life in order to do certain things. So I know for me, if you wanted to get to St. Louis, there were probably certain things that you had to cut out in your life in order to get to St. Louis.
Man.
So, for me, if I have a certain goal, I know like, man, you know what, Ty, you might have to stop going out for a few months, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
and stack up some bread. Or you might have to, instead of DJing at City Hall, you might have to take some other gigs. Like, you're going to have to make some sacrifice. And I think sometimes people are not willing to make those sacrifices because they're comfortable with doing what they're doing.
I grew up around a bunch of dope boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
I chose to work, though, right?
Yeah.
And they used to ridicule me all the time. I'm not going to lie. They'd be like, man, why are you going to some job waiting to get paid at the end of the week, blah, blah, blah. And what I told them was because when I get my money, I could do whatever I want to do with it and ain't nobody looking at me. I don't have to look over my back and because, you know what I mean, worried about who I done crossed or who trying to cross me.
Yeah.
And y'all so stuck in the game that y'all can't leave the block because you're afraid you're going to miss some money. But what good is having that money if you can't go nowhere but here, and here, and here? I can go wherever I want to go
Right.
with my money. You know what I mean? Those were the sacrifices that I made in order to be able to do the things that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Man.
So,
Ben Hester said it right. He said being born in Toledo, right? Being born and raised in Toledo, prepare us for survival anywhere in the world.
Absolutely.
You ain't never lie. We talked about that on the Rise and Grind morning show.
Yeah.
I said, man, Toledo builds you to be successful.
Yes.
And it's and because you know how to grind here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to another city, man, you blow up, you flourish, man. I wish somebody can call in, man, for real, that live out of town and left Toledo, man, that's got it going on. Like, Sean, when I was in Toledo, man, I couldn't even find no job or, Jeep. I didn't want to be a Jeep or whatever the story may be. But I went to North Carolina, man. Dude, I got a trucking company now. And I got a house I didn't build from the ground up, man. And I'm traveling, I'm having fun. I'm doing, man, those are the stories I love to hear because I'm trying to tell you something.
Yeah.
I miss Louisville, Kentucky, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I had it going on in Louisville, man, for real. I ain't gonna even front. Man.
and it's kind of unfortunate though. And Toledo's not the only place like this, but a lot of times the people in your hometown don't embrace you until you get love somewhere else,
Man,
right?
that's it.
Yeah.
And that's because they're used to you. They take your presence for granted, and then when they see other people supporting, or they like, man, wait a minute, hold on, he might be on to some, or if they feel like they can benefit from it,
Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of places it's like that. Like, people don't really embrace you where you from until you get love other places, but you can't get love other places until you go to those places or have some kind of exposure in them places.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. Again, ladies and gentlemen, what you witnessing today here on the Check-In podcast is men of color, black men, that are literally working together. That's me. That's DJ Mpress. That's Mud Talk Ty. Cleveland, we got Craig A. Thompson. These are black men that's literally working together, not against each other, but working together and doing it right. And we got to lead by example some way, somehow. So when we talk about the circle, right, it's about us coming together, putting our resources together, and stop looking on the outside for someone to give us something. If we set it up and build a foundation, we all gonna be okay. We all gonna be okay. But we gotta be able to do it decently and in order.
Yeah.
And be and being able to really, because at the end of the day, we gotta learn how to bless people. We gotta learn how to bless people, man. It's not always about money. It's not I keep saying this, so many of y'all are chasing the bag that you're missing the blessing. You're missing it because you're so busy trying to chase the bag. Trust and believe, man. If you do goodwill and you're asking God for the favor and protection on your life, I guarantee you he'll give you the increase. I guarantee it, man. So don't miss out, ladies and gentlemen, when someone is only trying to bless you. A lot of y'all miss out on blessings because y'all don't even know what the blessing's supposed to be. And that's a sad thing that I've seen it in my 20 years, just extending the olive branch, just trying to bless somebody like, yeah, I got you. I'm going to help you. And people are scared of that. People are really scared of someone really trying to bless them, but you're in church every Sunday asking God to bless you. You asking God for a miracle.
And God is tired of that same tired prayer.
Yeah, right.
Jesus, please help me. Jesus, please. He tired of that. He tired of that same prayer.
Man.
Do something different.
Right. Yeah, do something different. Do something different. Because I'm telling you, man, you got to stop, man. Because you can't, I keep telling people, you can't keep praying to God and asking him for something and don't expect for him to give it to you. Right. But when he give it to you, because it's not packaged the way you think it should be, that's not the blessing, you know. But you missed the blessing because it was right there for you, and because you didn't understand it or see it the way that you thought you were supposed to receive it, then you miss out on it. And we got to stop that, ladies and gentlemen. We got to stop that. So I just wanted to throw that little tad bit in there. That was your ministry word for the day. So that's what that is. But again,
hey, man, we're going to pass the plate now. Oh, sorry.
And so that's what that is. So, you know, again, you know, I'm looking back at 20 years of service here in the city of Toledo, man, with this program, man. I mean, man, like I truly appreciate all the hard times that I've gone through. Like it has definitely built me, like to and to be the age that I'm at, not old, but to still be able to go like I go. Is a blessing.
It's been a couple times. I'm like, they did what to him, man? Let me put these black Timbs on real quick. Y'all messing with my brother is crazy work.
Man, listen, man. And so Toledo, I make no excuse. I make no excuse for my approach in saving kids' lives. I don't. They need it. Because we got it. Right? And so for me to use my voice and being able to project the kids and shake them is better than you screaming as a mother, because you have to identify your child's body. And way too many parents are losing their babies, man. And you guys are not prepared for what's getting ready to come, especially with these cuts with Toledo Public Schools. I am asking you guys, I'm begging you guys to get to these meetings, right? And to learn what's coming down the pike. It is dead serious. Dead serious. Dead serious. So that's what that is. So
yeah, and if you don't get to the meetings, don't just take somebody's word and make these Facebook posts. Do some research on your own and find out, you know, how you can be a part of the solution instead of keep adding to the problem.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. So I just want to let you guys know that, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I am blessed today to have Mud Talk on Ty Cleveland in the house.
You know, what's good, y'all? You know,
your favorite cousin.
Your favorite cousin. No school, so active food, so you already know how that's about to go.
I'm going to tell you now, it's a blessing that you're here, brother. I will be coming to visit the studio.
Yes,
yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
We're going to connect. We're going to combine.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're going we definitely going to do the dang on thing. Hold on here, trying to reconnect. Come on, man. Come on. This shouldn't be happening. Hold on here. I ain't even said nothing. I ain't playing nothing for them.
Trying to get us canceled.
Trying to do that, man. Come on. Hey, what's going on? Due to poor, man, hey, we got Wi-Fi going on, man.
I think what they said, the truth should not be televised.
Right, there we go.
Show almost over.
Yeah, hold on here. Let me see what's going on here. This is crazy. Hold
They can't keep us down.
Oh yeah, we're still there. It's just not there. Okay. All right. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time. On the screen we're looking at is froze, but you guys can still see us somehow. I don't know, but we thank you for joining in. Check in. I'm without my lovely co-host Tanya with the T.
Shout out to Tanya.
Tanya is on a vacation right now. Our daughter's getting married. And so she won't be back until next week. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, remember, I do what I need to do in order to do what I want to do. Why? Because your future is in front of you and not behind you. You are the head and not the tail, above and not beneath. God bless you all. Have a great day. Great evening. Stay warm out there. Peace.
Yeah, check in. Check in. Yeah, he talk about what's real. Check in, talk about. Check in. Yeah, we talk about what's real. Time to check in. Every story else is hell. MrShawn and Miss Tanya bring the truth we need. Every Wednesday night they gon' set the city free. Yeah, check in. Come on and vibe, let the healing begin. Check in. Hey. Welcome to the place where the heart gets heard, where the city gets the message and it spreads like word. MrShawn break it down, he be speaking that life, talking pain, talking purpose, how to walk in the life. Miss Tanya with a T, yeah, she keep it on flow, dropping gems